कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में इतना सा फर्क है, एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में ये अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है, वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी। ये एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानकुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं है। क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा है। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
Good evening all and welcome to our evening show of Franchise India. And with this, we want to welcome our panel, Mr. Sai and Sudeep ji, along with Mr. Gaurav Maria, who's a chairman. And the iconic brand we're inviting today is Eurokids, along with Kangaroo Kids, which is a network of over 1,200 preschools and along with 42 K-12 schools with 150,000 students. So over to you, Gaurav, sir.
Thank you, Saras, and welcome friends, and welcome to a very, very special edition. And this is a very special because we are presenting a very special opportunity and also the timing of this webinar. This is actually on the cusp of where we're starting a new year with new hopes, new careers, and new partnerships. So we thought it is better for us to really bring in an opportunity which is a very, very exciting, very experienced team with us. I and Sonia. Sonia is a managing director of Franchise India. She also joins with us on this webinar. Both of us are going to be part of this webinar from a perspective in terms of taking questions from you, any questions which comes from our audience in terms of the opportunity. But let me start making a beginning in terms of introducing the opportunity. So this is an opportunity coming from Lighthouse. Lighthouse is a company which is backing 2 power brands. One is Eurokids and second is Kangaroo Kids. Both are very, very established early learning schools, preschools chains. Very established, rather they are the category creators which created the category of preschools in this country. And also we are very delighted to have a very experienced team led by Mr. Sai, who joins us on the call, and he's taken out time on his holiday to be part of with us because it's a very serious opportunity which they want to really present. An opportunity is for you to start a new preschool. That's one opportunity. Second opportunity is that if you're already in a preschool and you want to convert into and join the market leader, that's also another opportunity. So I'll not take time. We will run through the presentation. There will be a presentation and then we'll take a lot of questions at the end of this webinar. I'll pass it to Sonia for her comments and then we go to Mr. Sain to start the webinar.
Thank you, Gaurav, and a very good evening, friends. And we take a lot of pride in presenting this opportunity to all of you and the entire team of Kangaroo Kids, Eurokids, and the Lighthouse that we have today, and especially Mr. Sai, who's here to lead the entire webinar today. And friends, he's the CEO of the company, alumni of IIM Bangalore and London School of Economics, and he comes with a very rich experience in the education space and has spent considerable number of years with the entire team of Eurokids and Kangaroo. And also, I would say the pioneering efforts that were made by the founder of the company, Mr. Rajan, in the early childhood education space in the country is commendable, and not because they are currently the largest education entity, but also, and I would say more importantly, because they created a robust ecosystem for entrepreneurship in the education sector. So without taking more time, I'll request Mr. Sai to kindly address all our investors who have come in to understand the opportunity, friends. And we also have a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Any questions during the course of a presentation, if you have any, you can keep writing in, and we'll take all these questions towards the end of our webinar. Over to you, Mr. Sai.
Thank you very much, Sonia, and thank you, Gaurav. It's indeed a pleasure to be on this webinar and to talk about the very exciting investment opportunity as far as Kangaroo Kids and Eurokids is concerned. So we'll dive straight away into a presentation on our views around the whole preschool space, the early childhood education space, and then we'll open ourselves up for question and answers towards the end. I hope my screen is visible.
Yep.
Okay,
Absolutely.
great. So we are Lighthouse Learning. We are India's leading early childhood and K-12 education company. And here's a glimpse at our brands. On the preschool side, we have Eurokids and Kangaroo Kids, and Mother's Pet Kindergarten, which is recently acquired as part of the acquisition of the Centrepoint School in Nagpur. On the K-12 side, we have Euroschool and Billabong High International School. And of course, there is Centrepoint School in Nagpur. So these are all the brands. And of course, as time goes by, we may add more brands to our portfolio. In terms of our presence across the country, we have Kangaroo Kids is a 28-year-old brand. Eurokids is a 21-year-old brand. And we have more than presence in more than 3 countries. In India, we are present in 360 plus cities across, and we have 1,200 plus preschools, and we have 42 K-12 schools. And we've been involved in nurturing the lives of more than 400,000 children over the last so many years. Yeah. So that's as far as the footprint of the Lighthouse Learning is concerned. With Kangaroo Kids, we're also present in Doha, we're present in Dubai, we're present in Maldives, and we recently now in the verge of opening a Kangaroo Kids in Bahrain. So, well, of course, Eurokids is present in Nepal and in Bangladesh also. If you look at the impact that the Lighthouse Learning through its brands Kangaroo Kids and Eurokids has had, we've now empowered more than 1,000 plus women entrepreneurs. We're currently touching the lives of 150,000 plus children, and I'm talking, these are the COVID numbers. And because of the vast expanse and the reach of our brands, we've been providing employment opportunities to more than 10,000 plus people. A lot of them women teachers in our schools and preschools. So one of the questions we get asked very often is, why should anyone consider early childhood education? Yeah. And as pioneers in the space of early childhood education, we for many, many years have believed in the importance of early childhood education, which is why we built a very big set of brands around early childhood education. What we believed in for 20 years, the government has now finally taken cognizance of. And if you read the new education policy 2020, and this is a statement taken directly from the NEP 2020, where it says that 85% of a child's cumulative brain development occurs prior to the age of 6. So that foundational learning is so important and so crucial for the future of the children and the future of the country that the government has now made early childhood education, provisioning of early childhood education a national priority. And they are now saying that every child in the age group of 0 to 6 has to have early childhood development, care, and education. And this is something that we believed in very strongly. And we believe that the NEP 2020 now gives a lot of impetus. It gives a lot of support to the early childhood education space, because the government is now putting its entire might behind the provisioning of early childhood education. And of course, being in this field for so many years, we have access to many scientific studies which prove with hard data that the children who go through a structured and scientific early childhood education gain multiple benefits. And this is not just in terms of getting ready for grade 1, but this is also in terms of getting ready for life. So for instance, it is proven that a scientific early childhood education leads to improved social skills. It leads to getting better paid jobs. It leads to children, more and more children going to college. They have reduced discipline issues. They have better language development. They are more likely to succeed in life. And that's the power of early childhood education. And that's the reason why the government has now made it a priority. And you will see in the next few years an immense push across the country from an early childhood education perspective. And I think this is a great opportunity for people to come in and participate in this push for early childhood education. And we also see that the demand for high quality scientific early childhood education is going to be at an all-time high. Yeah. And what are the numbers behind that statement, right? India has 250 million children in the K-12 space, grade 1 to 12 onwards. In the 0 to 6 space, there are 165 million children. Yeah. And if you take all the brands, you take Eurokids, Kangaroo Kids, you take all the other brands in the preschool space, Kidsy, Little Millennium, you take all the well-established, well-known brands, we would not even be, touching the lives of all put together, more than 1 million out of this 165 million children. So just imagine how much headroom there is for growth in the early childhood education space. Yeah. And that's why, with the government pushing from one side and encouraging more and more parents to start availing of early childhood education, the demand for early childhood education is going to grow drastically. Yeah. The other thing that we've seen as a phenomena in the last many years, in the last 8-10 years especially, is that as people get educated and they start seeking jobs, they move from small towns to large towns. And this urbanization, as we call it, is growing day by day and is creating these mega cities. Yeah. The government has spoken about their smart city strategy. So we have these large cities expanding inside India, and the demand for high quality preschool education is also growing. So people shift from small towns to larger towns. They don't have their families with them. So when they go to work, they need a place to put their child in, a safe and hygienic place, a place which provides high quality education. And that is also driving the demand for high quality preschools. Yeah. And India has always been a country which is obsessed with education, right? So, we spend 46 out of 100 rupees on food, and then the next 23 rupees is spent on education, right? People will take loans, people will do whatever is needed, but they all want to ensure that their children get a better and a higher quality education that they did, so that they can succeed later on in life. And like I said earlier, all the brands put together are just touching a very small proportion of the 165 million children. So the market penetration is low, and there is, I think, tremendous scope for increasing the market penetration. And that then creates excellent conditions for the growth of the preschool industry in India. But then, of course, pandemic has hit all of us. Preschools were shut for the last 18 months. It's only in the month of August that preschools started to open up. I can now say that more than 50% of our preschools are now open physically, except in states where preschools are not allowed to open. Everywhere else, our preschools are fully operational. And we've seen a significant growth in our admission numbers post the preschools opening up physically. In fact, as compared to pre-COVID times, we are seeing almost a 3 times increase in demand for preschool admissions. But still, a lot of people might be saying, I'm not sure, Omicron, third wave, what is going to happen? Is this the right time to start your own preschool, right? So, one, preschool operations have resumed, and one of the big things that has happened in the last 18 months, 2 years, is that a lot of the marginal preschools, the local preschools have shut down. Yeah. So I was in Mysore about a month back, and in Mysore pre-pandemic, there were 172 preschools to be precise. Now there are only 76 preschools. So a lot of the local, the auntie next door kind of preschools have all shut down. The only preschools which have survived are the ones which have a strong online presence, have a strong online preschooling program, and have the strength and the capability to get through the difficult times, right? So what we see happening in the market right now is that as preschools open up, parents will come back to the preschool, but they will see that compared to pre-pandemic, there are only half the number of preschools available in the marketplace. So the preschools which remain standing will get the maximum number of admissions. And we are beginning to see that surge already in our preschools, in Eurokids and in Kangaroo Kids. The other thing we've noticed is that when parents come to meet us for seeking admissions in the physical preschool, they ask a lot of questions about safety, hygiene, COVID protocols, how are you going to maintain social distancing, how will you make sure that my child is safe? And hence, there is already a strong preference of parents wanting to not send their child to a local preschool, but to send them to a branded preschool, because with a branded preschool comes the assurance of safety and comes the assurance of hygiene, right? We've also seen that offices are slowly resuming, and as offices resume, parents start going back to work, the demand for preschools will keep increasing. Yeah. And finally, the great time to start a preschool is now, because with brands like Eurokids and Kangaroo Kids, we've mastered all different modes of preschool delivery. Yeah. So we are running an extremely successful online preschool. We were always very good at offline preschooling, which is your regular preschooling. And we are also now offering hybrid, which is a mix of online and offline. And if you can't do these kind of different modes of offerings, then it will be very difficult for you to survive in the marketplace, right? And we have all these capabilities available with us. So fundamentally, look at it this way, that the market is coming back. The supply has reduced drastically. Even properties might be available. Good properties will be available. Landlords might be even willing to negotiate good rents with you. So these are all the reasons why it's a great time to jump in and start the preschool now. Let me talk about our preschool brands for a bit. Eurokids is our mid-market brand, 1,100 preschools across the country, one of the leaders in the mastige segment. And we have 4 age-specific programs: playgroup, nursery, Euro Junior, and Euro Senior. Our curriculum has been developed by child psychologists. We spent an immense amount of effort on training and certifying our teachers. We have won many, many awards for our curriculum, for our operations, for our brand. And we continue to constantly improve our curriculum so that we can provide the best of support to our franchise partners so that they can succeed in the marketplace. This is our 7th iteration of our curriculum. Every few years, we upgrade our curriculum. This is Unoya, which is version 7 of our curriculum, which is broadly split into mind, body, and soul. And we won the Best Early Education Innovative Curriculum Award in 2020 from the Indian Education Awards. And the whole Unoya is defined to give children a very holistic development. So on the mind side, we have Euphonics, MathLab, and Scientific Spark. On the body side, we have Eurofit and Yoga Kids. And on the mind side, we have Euro Music and Mindful Plus. On the soul side, we have Euro Music and Mindful Plus. So that's your mind, body, and soul. And it's a very, very strong curriculum. And it will deliver great learning outcomes for the kids. We also have our HomeBuddy app, which has been custom developed for the online space, and it gives a plethora of content for all our parents. There are weekly learning plans, there are recorded lessons, there are interactive games, there is a parent corner, there are DIY activities, read-along stories, and we've had a very, very good experience with our HomeBuddy app during the pandemic. Currently, we have close to 45,000 children who are studying on the HomeBuddy app, and we have an 87% satisfaction rate and a 92% recommendation rate as far as our HomeBuddy experience is concerned. Parents are very clearly saying that they have seen significant progress in their child even through online classes. Yeah. We are one of India's most awarded preschool brands. I won't spend time, but there are many, many awards that Eurokids has won over the years. And of course, when you partner with Eurokids, you get the entire advantage of the organization, the team that we have put in place, and all the experience that we have of running preschools for so many years. So we'll help you with infrastructure and ambience design. We will help you with equipment and teaching aids. I spoke about the curriculum earlier. We'll do teacher training and assessments, marketing and operations support, lead management support, and rewards and recognition. So we handhold you every step of the way to make sure that your journey is a very successful journey when you invest your money in this opportunity. And what is needed to become a Eurokids franchisee? You need infrastructure of about 1,500 square foot area, typically a standalone bungalow or a location with a ground floor with some outdoor area so that the children can go and play and can do their outdoor activities. And we'll share with you an ambience manual which you will have to execute inside. From a financial perspective, the franchise fees is 2 to 3.5 lakh rupees, depending on the city and the grade of the preschool. The setup cost will vary between 8 lakhs to 12 lakhs, and the operating expenses will be about 0.75 lakhs to 1.5 lakhs per month. Yeah. Of course, if you need more details around the franchise offer, please do reach out to the Franchise India team, and we can take you through a very detailed one-on-one conversation to explain the entire investment opportunity to you. Let's talk about Kangaroo Kids. So while Eurokids is our mid-market brand, Kangaroo Kids is the premium brand. And the way I typically explain the difference between Eurokids and Kangaroo Kids is that if Eurokids is, let's say, like a ICSE, CBSE brand of ours, then Kangaroo Kids is like a IB or a Cambridge curriculum brand, right? That doesn't mean that Kangaroo Kids has an IB or the Cambridge curriculum, but the positioning is that it is a premium brand, yeah? And it is meant for those parents who want absolutely the best global education for their child, even at the preschool stage. So, and it's been a pioneering brand. A lot of things that you see in the preschool market today was started by Kangaroo Kids 28 years back. We recently launched our brand new curriculum called the ICANN Learning System, which incorporates the 9 future skills and the 15 habits of the mind. And this will really set Kangaroo Kids apart as a very, very pioneering brand, the first brand literally to bring student-led learning into the preschool space in a big way. And I spoke about the curriculum, the infrastructure requirements. We can share more details with you one-on-one, but the infrastructure, it will be larger than Eurokids, and it has a completely different and a premium design. And from a commercial perspective, if say Eurokids operates between a 38 to 40,000 rupee fee point, Kangaroo Kids will operate between a 55 to 65,000 rupee fee point. So it's about 30 to 40% higher in terms of fees. Yeah, and it is meant for the premium parent who is willing to pay a premium fees. What is needed to become a Kangaroo Kids franchisee? 3,500 square foot area, like a ground floor with outdoor area. And of course, we share what is called a blue book, and with very, very detailed instructions on how to get the interiors done. The franchise fees for Kangaroo Kids is 6.5 lakh rupees. The setup cost, because it is more premium, will be higher, between 20 to 25 lakh rupees. And the monthly OPEX will be between 1.5 to 2.5 lakh rupees. So while we expect to see the Eurokids chain grow from the current 1,100 to close to about 3,000 centers over the next 3 to 4 years, Kangaroo Kids is about 100 centers. We expect it to grow to about 300 centers. So because it's a premium chain, we don't expect to see Kangaroo Kids grow into every city of India, but it will grow at a measured pace, and it will have premiumness and exclusivity built into the whole brand offering. Like I said earlier, we will give you very, very comprehensive support, starting from the sign up, going into center launch and operations. We'll help you choose the location, find the property, launch your preschool, give you full-fledged support on curriculum, hiring of teachers, training, audits, marketing, lead generation, support, hand-holding. So there is an immense amount of effort that we put in to make sure that our partners succeed. And we call it the Edge 360 program, both for Eurokids as well as for Kangaroo Kids. What kind of teacher training do we do? Because the quality of an education system is fully dependent upon the quality of their teachers. So if the teachers are not good, you can have a great brand, but the parents will not experience and the children will not learn a lot. So we spend a lot of time on real-time teacher and center head training. Yeah. We also train your admission counselors, both on e-counseling as well as on one-on-one counseling. Yeah. Why is that important? Because when the parent walks in to make an inquiry, someone needs to sit, understand the parent's requirements, and explain the entire brand offering to them. What will this brand do for the child? That is extremely crucial for the parents to understand. So if your admission counselors are not trained and they only say, here's the fees, session starts on so-and-so date, then you might lose the admission. So how to engage with prospective parents is something that we spend a lot of time on, and we'll train your counselors. We will on all kinds of counseling. We also conduct parent orientations and webinars. So we just don't leave it to you. The first few times when you're conducting a parent orientation, you're talking to your prospective parents or even to your existing parents, we will come in. We have a large academic team spread out across the country, and they will be deeply involved in engaging in all conversations that you do with your parents. We will also do a lot of guidance on online and classroom assessments and student reviews. Yeah, because one of the advantages in the academic team gives us is that we have 18 of our academic managers spread out across the country. At short notice, they can come spend time with your teachers physically, actually show demo classes. If your teachers are conducting classes, they can come and sit in the class and give improvement inputs to your teachers. So we do this in a very, very systematic manner. Yeah. We'll also support you on staff hiring. Yeah. So we have automated tests that we make all our teachers do, and so that we can get a sense of how good they are from a early childhood perspective. And we will do interviews, we will do assessments, and we will guide you on whether to hire teachers and other staff or not. Yeah. And of course, for our partners, for the investors, we will take you through a very, very detailed partner induction so that you understand the business thoroughly. Because with 20 years of experience, we know the business extremely well. And our objective is to transfer all that information to you so that you can run a very, very successful preschool yourself. I spoke earlier about the fact that parents now, because of the pandemic, will be very careful about what kind of preschool they choose for their child. You know, is it following safety protocols? It is safe? Is it hygienic? So we've tied up with 3 agencies. Our safety partner is Bureau Veritas, which some of you might have heard, are very well known for conducting audits and for developing processes and protocols around quality as well as safety. So with Bureau Veritas, we've developed our school operating protocols, and they have vetted our school operating protocols and given us the certification that, you know, these are safe from a COVID perspective. Similarly, we've tied up with Diversey and with High Care, who are our hygiene and our disinfection partners. So they've recommended to us how to do the disinfection, what consumables, what chemicals we should be using inside our preschools to make sure that our preschools are safe for our children. And this gives the parents the assurance that when they walk into our preschool, that their children will be safe. By the way, like I mentioned earlier, we have more than 500 of our preschools operating in Punjab. We've had 22 preschools operating since August. We've not had a single case of COVID reported in any of our preschools. And that's a testament to the fact that we are very, very careful in the way we run our operations. This is another area that people who are looking at investing in the preschool space want to understand. To say, what kind of support do I get from a marketing perspective? We were the first this year, between the months of April and July, to carry out a very, very extensive digital marketing campaign for our partners. So between April and July, we ran extensive digital marketing campaign. We generated 140,000 leads for our 1,100 partners, Eurokids partners across the country. So you can be rest assured that you will be getting a lot of not just marketing support. So we're not just doing branding. We'll actually generate leads, and those leads will flow to you through a lead management software that we've implemented for all our partners. Apart from that, of course, we have high quality agencies who work with us to make creatives for you. So you don't have to worry about creatives. We can also do adaptations and give it to you. So the one that you see on the left, Start Online Now, Switch to Classrooms Later, is our April campaign when we were just coming out of the second wave. We wanted people to get into preschooling immediately. Here are a sample of some of the more creatives that we've used. And various types: posters, parent manuals, admission checklists, mailers, tent cards. We'll provide all of this to you. We also work very closely with our PR agency to make sure that there is a lot of media coverage around our brands. So, just to sum up, we look forward to starting the entrepreneurial journey with you. We can work very closely with you hand in hand to provide the highest quality of support. And one of the things that you must take away from this interaction is to know that the early childhood education space is all set for a significant explosion. Yeah. And now would be a great time to enter the early childhood education space, because it is all set to expand rapidly given the government's emphasis on the early childhood education. So thank you very much, and we can now take any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Sai, and thank you for a very elaborate presentation both on Eurokid and Kangaroo Kids. And I echo Mr. Sai's statement in terms of that this is a perfect time. This is a perfect time because the industry is in the form of a consolidation. A lot of marginal players who were not so great has exited the business, so it has created a vacuum and the kind of opportunity which is available. When the market starts coming back, I think there would be a more demand than the supply can handle. So it is a great opportunity to make that decision to start a preschool right now for various reasons. One, I think, as I said, the opportunity is big. Second, I think when it starts coming back, there will be a little rush. And also the real estate. Real estate is a big factor. So you can get a good real estate. Maybe running preschools are also available, which Franchise India is working on, which we can organize. So you can save a lot of capex getting into the business. Now we'll start with a Q&A. I think we would like to have more and more questions. A lot of questions are coming in already, which I'll request Sonia to keep picking up. And Sonia, you feel free to keep asking questions as you see them coming in. So let me start with the first question, which is very important for everyone to know, is the larger support structure. How does it really work? So if somebody wants to decide now to start a preschool, what is the time frame it looks for setting up the school, and what is a go-to-market strategy which you help in terms of doing it? What are the season we are looking at? What should be the right projection? So give a little roadmap in terms of that. What is the next 2 to 3 months look like, and how your head office would support these partners in terms of setting up their business. So anyone, Sai or Mr. Sudeep, you can take it up.
Yeah. So, Gaurav, I would like to answer this. So, as we understood from the presentations or the highlights what Sai shared, that this is the right time to get into this business, and the window is very limited. The reason being, the marginal players who moved out of the market, if not today, but after 3 to 6 months, they will also try to come back and capture the opportunity. So there is always a need for all of us to extract the fast movers advantage. Now, what we typically see for Eurokids, for where we require around 1500 to 2000 square feet area. So the major tasks are identification of, so we have researched go-to location markets with the catchment analysis, everything is done. So the prospective partner has to identify and block that location first, and identification of the right property at the right price point. So that is something which I think one has to get into very immediately. And after that, we will share the ambience manual, and simultaneously the necessary documentation and disbursement of the franchisee fee to the company. These formalities have to be done. Now, after that, I mean, it also depends in what condition we are getting the property. Usually the civil work requires around 2 to 3 weeks. And simultaneously, if we do the documentation, then it is around 30 to 45 days of project timeline, which we have to invest. And during this process, our pre-sales team will be supporting the prospective investor from, I mean, they will extend end-to-end support starting from identification of the right location, identification of the right property at right price. Also, they will support with this ambience manual and regular visit, such that the infrastructure is being made as per the standard. Simultaneously, our team will also support in recruitment, in shortlisting the resources like counselor, teachers, etc., and also organizing their training, such that by third week or fourth week of March, the center is ready from all aspects. The team of the franchisee partner is also ready, and the team is ready to handle the walk-in parents, and they are thoroughly trained to answer their queries, such that they can convert maximum percentage of the walk-in into enrollment. Now, simultaneously, we also have our operations team who will guide the channel partner what is going to be the go-to-market strategy in that micro market. So what are the catchments they need to cater to? What would be the reach strategy in that areas, such that we can create an awareness and visibility of our upcoming center in that area. So it is going to be a 360-degree support which we are going to extend. But the essence is the speed, because if somebody has to really take the full opportunity, which is starting from perhaps April, then the center has to be physically ready by middle or third week of March.
Sure. So I think there are two questions which are coming repeatedly. One, obviously, everybody is talking about the COVID, and just to give information that there are already 50,000 enrollments which are active with Eurokids. So,
yeah,
so it's a myth that kids are not studying. So they are currently studying online. And even if you have a month or two where they are not coming to school, because this is not going to stay forever, they are, because of hybrid learning, every kid is enrolled. So no parent would like that the kids are not enrolled to school. Schooling is essential for every kid's upbringing, and no parent would like to ignore that part of the business. So it's a little bit of a more myth than reality.
Absolutely.
While physically sometimes the schools are closed, but the kids are already enrolled. So you are still in business. You're still getting your fees and coming in and by delivering the education online. So I wanted to clarify that. So this question is coming from a lot of people. Second, I think question is really to maybe Sudeepji, if you want to really give a little understanding of the investment and royalties again, because everybody is asking about that. So that creates I think, and if you can extend that and also talk about a little bit how it is a very profitable business and how does it really work, what is an ideal school structure, what is a year 1, what is a year 2, what is a year 3, and at third year, when you are an optimum performance level, what kind of enrollment you can really think through and how it becomes a very profitable business.
Yeah. So I'll first talk about the broad investment. So we will require an area around 1500 to 2000 square feet carpet, where we need to incorporate 4 classrooms, some play area, 1 reception, 2 toilets, 1 pantry, and maybe some small place for some activity. It can be a single storied building or it can be a duplex also. Now, the requirement is on the ground floor preferably, and it should be in a residential area. Now, typically the investment, including the franchisee fee, equipment, furniture, and the civil work put together, ranges from 12 to 18 lakhs rupees, depending on the location and the size of the property. Now, to answer the second question, the enrollment piece, we have seen that, see, pre-COVID, our average enrollment was 84 enrollment per center. And right now it is around 45 to 50 enrollments per center. Now, we typically see that so far as the first year enrollment is concerned, it varies at around 38 to 43. So that is a first year typical enrollment for the new centers. So we have also seen from the historical data that the profitability in this business largely depends on the rent piece of it, because rent is around 60% of your monthly operating expenses in this business. Therefore, one key success factor is identification of the right property at the right rent. Now, if I talk about the payback period, so we have seen typically that the franchisee partners who have their own property, they will get that complete investment back in around, say, 15 to 18 months of operation. And somebody who has got rented property, they usually get their investment back by 22 to 24 months.
Absolutely. So now you want to pick up some questions?
Very quickly, I saw many questions. I think some of these questions have already been addressed in the course of a presentation, but some of these questions, which I like to pick up because I saw them coming from a couple of our audience, and this was one on the franchise fees structure. Is there some renewal fee?
And I think Gaurav, I missed one question. So far as the royalty piece is concerned, there was one query. I think I missed it. So royalty is 20% plus GST,
which is paid monthly,
which is basically charged
quarterly
on the which is charged on the tuition fees,
Correct.
And it is again like if some parent is paying the tuition fee on the quarterly basis, so whatever amount has been paid on quarterly basis, from that 20% is taken by the company and 80% is retained by the franchisee partner.
All right, helpful. Okay, the other question was on the franchise fees and the renewal terms, because we have a contract period of say 5 years. What happens at the end of the period? And the question which I saw was on the franchise fees. Is this fee recurring after the contract is renewed?
Yeah. So if the franchisee fee is say X rupees, so after 3 years, then again it is chargeable. So we initially we sign for 3 years agreement with that said franchisee fee, and after again 3 years it is renewed on yearly basis. So X by 3 has to be paid for the 4th year, and then again X by 3 for the 5th year, like that.
And the franchise fees remain same for all the subsequent years?
Yeah, it remains
of 3 years.
Yeah, it remains same.
All right, and because that's the question which I saw, is it to be paid every year? Is that something that can be
so
paid?
You pay initially for 3 years, and after that you keep on paying on prorated basis for every year.
The other question which I also wanted to pick, and especially that is on Kangaroo Kids. While Eurokids can have, a lot of maybe in the same city, number of schools can be opened. This specifically, if I remember, was question from somebody out of Pune and asking if Kangaroo Kids can be open at multiple locations in the same city. Considering it's a premium school, preschool, what number of locations ideally we keep as a thumb rule? If the distance
See,
parameter is to be
see, there is to answer this question, there is no such specific thumb rule that okay, the distance has to be 2 kilometers, 4 kilometers, 5 kilometers. It's not like that. It depends on the demography of the city. Like if we talk about Mumbai, where the city is growing vertically, or if we talk about say Delhi or Noida, where the cities are growing vertically, so in those places maybe the distance would be shorter. It may be for Kangaroo Kid, it may be say 3.5 kilometers or 4 kilometers. There can be places like if we talk about say Bhopal or say Indore, where it is not dominated by multi-storied buildings. There maybe the distance can be 5 kilometers or 6 kilometers. So it is actually done, it is decided basis the geography, but typically it ranges from 3.5 to 5.5 kilometers depending on the geography. And yes, answer is yes. In even one single city, we can have multiple centers for Kangaroo Kids. And in Pune also, of course, we can look at, because Pune is one of the strongest market where we enjoy a very strong brand reputation so far as Lighthouse Learning is concerned.
Sure. I also see, we have a lot of women entrepreneurs, and we all know that Lighthouse has been empowering a lot of female and women entrepreneurs throughout, and all your franchisees are also female entrepreneurs. So I see many of them who come with also relevant experience in teaching or working, or they've worked in schools before, or owning, I would say, some of these schools. Would you want to, talk about maybe women entrepreneurs who want to get into it without any prior experience? Is there a limitation? Do you think that's something that you would also welcome?
So you were saying that women entrepreneurs who doesn't have any teaching experience.
Yeah, because I'm seeing a lot of them come with a lot of experience, and they're talking about experience. How about?
We have seen that around say 40% of our network are having prior teaching experiences, but there are a lot of instances where there are a lot of women entrepreneurs who are working with who are in our network who have joined us from a non-teaching background also, and they are doing great. So what really matters, so of course if you have a teaching background, it works as a catalyst. It gives you that initial impetus, and it makes you a little fast learner, but if you don't have a teaching experience, then our academic team come into play, our operations team come into play. So it is our responsibility to handhold you and fill up that bridge, fill up that gap very quickly, such that you come up to the pace. And we have a lot of entrepreneurs who have joined us with a non-teaching background, and in the first year they have crossed even 100+ enrollments.
All right, that's very interesting to know. And one other thing, because looking at Pan India for both our brands, would you want to comment maybe on a macro level, what kind of cities are we looking at? Because I'm seeing response coming from tier 1 locations, and also locations like Kanpur, Jharkhand, and many of the cities which I'm seeing coming in the Q&A. And locations like Bangalore, because I remember last time we had spoken to a lot of investors, and we already have a lot of penetration in that city, which leaves us with little room to expand further. So on a macro level, which are the cities, location, regions, states that we are focusing on, one? And is there also a negative, list of cities where we don't think we have our current potential to get in?
For Kangaroo Kid, we are limiting our penetration in the metro cities and some of the tier 1 cities. But for Eurokids, being a must-teach product, and must-teach offering, we are open for tier 1 and tier 2, tier 3 cities as well. And I think Bangalore and Pune, they are heavily penetrated markets, though we are still left with very few gap locations. And but of course, I mean, we still can accommodate some of the partners in both these cities.
And I'm very happy. A lot of people are also wanting to meet friends. I like to also say that Franchise India teams are present all across the country, and we're also doing shows, and these are physical events that we have planned starting today till the middle of the month, where our teams all across India are coming to your cities, meeting you in person. So I would request all of you to reach out to us, and I'm sure there's a lot of information that you seek on the business financials, and we'll be happy to share all the presentation with you, and also working on all the financial dynamics that you need to undergo before we can actually conclude on this relationship. So I'll request all of you to reach out on the hotline number as well, and we will also start blocking times with our advisors, our teams in the cities that we would travel to. And lastly, Sudeepji, I see a question from, and there are many questions while, but one question which I think I like to pick is a question from Mr. Rupesh Singh. He's asking on the franchise fee structure, are we charging same for a tier 1 and a tier 2 alike?
So Sonia, without any compromise in the quality of the deliverables, the fee structure is kept competitive. So it varies from market to market, and it is market sensitive, market competitive. So if the prevailing fee structure in Bangalore is say 65,000 rupees, maybe the fee structure in say Gwalior would be a little lower. This is the market dynamics of Gwalior. So it varies from city to city, and it is quite competitive so far as market dynamics is concerned.
Sudeep, can you also address if there is any franchise fee difference between big city, small city?
Yeah. So there are differences across the franchisee fees also. So what we have done there are different, considering the different demography across the country, the franchisee fee again varies from 2 lakhs to 3.5 lakh rupees, depending on the city and the model. Because look at Bangalore. Bangalore is heavily penetrated by a lot of preschools, and it is one of our strongest market. The gentry, the parents in Bangalore, they are highly educated, young IT professionals. So their expectation and their expectations will be high. They will be more demanding. Therefore, we need to come up with a center with a very high quality touch and feel in Bangalore. Therefore, the investment has to be higher to attract more and more enrollment and to maintain the competitive positioning of your center vis-a-vis other Eurokids center and other competition. Whereas in a smaller city, say like Kanpur or say Asansol, you will come across a lot of parents. They are serious about their kids' education, but maybe you don't have to create that big an infrastructure. Therefore, the franchisee fee also varies from city to city. So the fee structure also varies from city to city.
Sure, that's very, very helpful. And Rupesh, I hope this has answered. And maybe one last, which I want to pick, and maybe I'll club 2-3 questions together because I saw one coming in. One was also on the student-teacher ratio, which I saw somebody asking, and also idle number of batch for a class was one question which I saw being asked. And number of sections, typically number of rooms that one needs to maintain in the school.
Yeah.
Per level.
We basic requirement is the minimum number of classrooms, what we call fun room, is 4. And there are 4 classes: playgroup, nursery, junior KG, senior KG. Now, in cities like Bangalore or Pune, we run it into shifts because there are huge enrollment in many such centers. The average enrollment count is more than 100. So there can be 2 or 3 shifts. At the same time, there are centers who have expanded. I mean, they have got maybe 8 or 9 classrooms. So to start with, it has to be 4 classrooms, and they can operate in multiple shifts. And there was another part of your question, Sonia. Just
this was the number of sections. I think that was one student teacher ratio was number of batches per.
Yeah. Student teacher ratio varies from 1:8 to 1:10. And number of sections is again depends. If you have more classrooms, then you can have multiple sections. If you have limitation in terms of number of classrooms, then you can have multiple batches.
Let me just add, Sonia, that there is a difference in child to teacher ratios between Kangaroo Kids and Eurokids. So while in Eurokids, we will typically do a child to teacher ratio of 1:10 to 1:12. In Kangaroo Kids, it will be between 1:6 to 1:8. And that reflects the premium offering that we have at Kangaroo Kids, where the teacher-child ratio is lower than that of Kangaroo Eurokids.
That's very, very helpful, friends. I still see a lot of questions coming in, and I believe we would be able to address all of them on a one-to-one basis. We have our teams, like I mentioned, all across India who would reach out to all of you. And we've also shared a WhatsApp number where you can pick the city that you belong, anything on the property, if you already have a property, because apart from inviting entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, we would also be happy to listen if you're already running some preschool and want to convert any school that you're running by yourself. So any such inquiries can also be shared with us, and we'll reach out to the management of Lighthouse to see what possibilities we can create together. And before we close, Sai and Sudeepji, I'll request if there's a last word that you want to share with all our audience. And before I do that, I'll give back to Gaurav also for his last remarks.
Yeah. So, I'll probably just sum up everything that we have discussed in the last hour or so, is to say that pandemic or no pandemic, second wave, third wave notwithstanding, as a trend, what we've seen from parents is that in the first 6 months of the pandemic, they were okay to leave their children at home without any instruction. But as time is passing, parents are getting more and more worried about the fact that children are missing out on crucial education during this time, right? With our brands, we're catering to a set of parents who are digitally savvy, have devices at home, have bandwidth at home, and we are seeing a significant adoption of online even during this pandemic phase. Just to share with you, our new admissions that we have seen in the current academic year are 4 times the number of admissions that we saw last year, right? So the growth in new admissions has been humongous. It's a 400% growth in new admissions that we have seen this year, because we have a very, very strong online program. And we already had a very strong offline program. Combined with the fact that we now can take care of any kind of external situation. Yeah. So tomorrow, if a third wave happens and preschools are asked to shut down again, we have online to offer. And from whatever we are hearing about Omicron, saying severity is low, will not possibly result in the government going back into a lockdown, then preschools will open, demand will come back. Supply is at 50% of what it was pre-pandemic. So the people who enter the market now will have a wonderful opportunity to grab the demand coming back into the marketplace. And I think these are the reasons why one should definitely consider entering the preschool market at this point in time.
Thank you, Mr. Sai. Very well summarized. And I request Gaurav for his concluding remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Sai. Thank you, Sudeep, for a very detailed presentation. This is a great opportunity, and Franchise India has a great belief on the brand. We have been associated with the brand for over 2 decades now, and we're very proud that the kind of work they've done in the industry, the sensitivity they have towards their partners, the overall performance of their partners over the years. Some of the partners actually are 2 decades with the company and so on and so forth. So it's a great opportunity, great timing, and also, as I said in the start of this webinar, that this is also a very important time where you decide what do you want to do in 2022. And if you feel early learning is your way to go, this is your opportunity to partner with #1 brand in the country. Both formats, Eurokids and Kangaroo Kids, depending on the TG you want to address. If you want to go higher premium, then Kangaroo Kids, and if you want to go with something which is more value, is Eurokids. So if you have your own property, then it is even better, because you decide right now and you can really put your property, especially if you have a residential bungalow or a place like that, which suits to a preschool business. So friends, this is an opportunity where we have put 40 different consultants across India, as I said on my chat, that there are road shows happening. There are about 35 cities we are actually traveling down and meeting prospects. So if you are somebody who's interested to really explore more, I'm not saying even to decide, but if you want to explore more, or want to really see that your property suits there, or some of them have actually written to me directly on phone that they have some center already running, they want to convert that. So all these are possibilities. All these are possibilities. I can tell you the management at Lighthouse is extremely sensitive. While they are up for growth, They want to take this as an opportunity, but they're also extremely sensitive to make sure that even if there is a period of 4, 5, 6 months where there is a piece of uncertainty, they would stand by you and help you to pass that entire thing, because the business is not done for 6 months. Business is done for the next 5 to 10 years. And that's the call you need to decide that this is the business which you want to really invest on. Sudeep, any comments from you before we close the webinar?
So, Gaurav, I think whoever is interested should immediately reach out to Franchisee India team, and our representatives are also available for any query resolution, because I understand in order to really exploit the full opportunity, the center has to be ready by March end, and the time is now. So January is a very, very crucial month, because identification of the right property actually takes time. So as soon as that is done, then we together can set it up in maybe 40-45 days time. So I think we need to take some fast decision. Yeah,
Absolutely. And this is a fast decision, but not in haste. You need to still
Yeah.
know a lot before you make a decision to buy a business. That's always a rule with Franchise India. So we encourage that you actually take all the decisions with thorough knowledge and understand what you're getting and investing into. So this webinar and any kind of further meetings is actually to really enlighten you about the opportunity of starting early learning center, a preschool with the top brands in the country, which is Eurokids and Kangaroo Kids, powered by Lighthouse. Lighthouse is the holding company. So thank you very much. Thanks everyone for joining this webinar, and very happy new year to all of you who are being part of this webinar. So, and hopefully in the next year, we all connect again and see a great partnership together. Thank you, Sunny. Thank you,
Have a
Sudhir.
great
thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.